Good morning, Europe, and hello, world. This is Lieve and calling from Antwerp in Belgium, and we have a wonderful morning here. And I wish you a wonderful day or evening or whatever it is in your time zone at this moment. Um, I am here to serve you. This channel, I've started this channel to help people and especially women with the biggest challenges that they have at this moment in their life. So if you are stuck with something, if you have something that you have no idea how to solve this, how to get out of it, if it's in your private life or if it's in your business, it doesn't matter. Just ask me. And I will do my very best. I will give you an answer that comes as close as possible, the closest possible to where you need to be or to set the first step. Because you are an unbelievable, beautiful being with an unbelievable potential. You can reach anything you want. The only thing you need to do is to discover how and do it. And I am here to help you discover. Today, you've seen probably in the announcement that I said, how can you make your life the easiest? And I've been thinking a lot of that lately, how I do that and how I look at things. And you know, you might know what I'm going to tell you today, but you know what they say, repetition is the mother of skill. We know many things. We hear and see many things, but we get so much information that we often forget or just don't think about it because we have a busy life. We have responsibilities. You are doing all kinds of stuff. So it's not obvious to think about how you can make your life the easiest. And what we all do, and what I realized at a certain point is that we make our life the easiest when we are using systems. When we are able to do certain things automatically. After a while, in the beginning, we have to consciously think about it, to install the habit to do things in a certain way, at a certain time, in a certain place. And after a while, when it's a habit, you have a system in place. And when it becomes a real habit, it happens automatically, and then life is much easier. But already when you start thinking about it, when you start thinking, okay, what is the best way that I can do this, and how I'm going to do this? And we do everything in life like that. That is how we live and how we grow. Everything is a system. I've said this in one of the earlier editions. We are a big system that consists of millions smaller systems. And I also realized at a certain point that there are many situations in our life that we struggle with, and that there is a way to look at that with a system so that you can get out of the situation that you don't want to be in, that you want to leave as fast as possible. But no matter where you are, if you have a small issue, if you have a big thing going on, there is always a way to make it simpler. And, people who know me a little bit better, in what I'm doing, in how I work, how I do things, they know that I use a lot of systems. I'm good with systems. And I love systems. In a way, I grew up with them, not as a child. Yes, my father has given me some examples when I was a young girl, but it's from the moment that I started to work for an employer in the direct marketing branch. There, I've learned so much, and they showed me what a huge advantage it is to start from the beginning. When you do something, when you start from the beginning by putting it into systems. When I'm saying the direct marketing business, in my case, that was in a specific niche. We were specialized in mail order companies. And at that time, when I started to work in that branch, I worked for a mail order companies, actually two. There were sister companies. So I started with one and then I went to the other one. And the first one, I was immediately thrown into systems. I had to do statistics. And actually, it comes down to checking lists, putting information in lists, and see what the results are, and analyze it. And besides that, we also had a system for the calculations. Everything was systems. It's one system stick to the other. It was really structured, and it worked really well. And a few years ago, I realized that I look at things in the same way, and it is a good chance it has to do with the fact that I've been working in that niche for 30 years. I worked first with statistics and marketing, then that was in the mail order companies themselves. And then after 10 years, I went to work for somebody who had a mail order company and then started to deliver services for mail order companies. And again, it was system. So I stayed in the same pond, but looked at from a completely different angle. And all those 30 years, I've been in systems, and I saw what a difference it made for not only the company, of course, for the company in the first place, but also for ourselves. Because when you have a system in place, things become easier to do, and you start winning time. And a lot of you know that. I am convinced. And at the same time, I also know that there are always certain areas in your life that you are not using it, and that you could, and that if you would, your life would be easier as well. By the way, I am here to answer your questions. So, if you have a question, put it in the chat box here, and I will give you an answer that helps you to move forward. And it helps you to move forward the fastest as possible. Let's see. Okay. So, yes, when you use systems, it makes your life easier, and it really makes the easiest. But it's not just the use of the systems only, because that's the start. That makes it easier. But how do you make it the easiest? Well, actually, it's to use that superlative all the time. What I mean is, focus on the most important. So always, in everything, it's the most of that, the most important that you focus on. And when you first take care of that, and then you can go to the next step, and then to the next step. When you focus on the most important, it also means to let go of what is not or much less important. Time flies for all of us. Unless you are bored, then time goes really slowly. But for most of us, time flies. We don't have enough time to do everything we want. So, how can we make our life the easiest? Yes, by using systems, by focusing on the most important, and then letting go of the less important and everything that does not bring you closer. So you focus to where you want to be. So you focus on the things that bring you the closest and the fastest to where you want to be. And you start there. And then another thing. Actually, this is the big idea. The big idea of everything is to simplify your life. I am myself one of the biggest examples, probably, by making your life harder. I'm most of the time doing several things at a time. I'm always curious. I'm always on a discovery journey. I'm so hungry for information. I'm always trying to find new things, new ways. I love it. I really love it. At the same time, it's a huge challenge because I need to constantly remind myself to focus on the most important and let go of what doesn't serve me or what doesn't bring me closer to where I want to be, or what takes too much time, too much effort. These kind of things you really need to let go. You know, there was one time when I worked with a mail order company. It was Lecturama that time. I don't know if they still exist, but because at a certain point it has been sold after I was gone. But it was an editor, a publisher by mail order. And when I started there, I started with we just started our own marketing department because that company depended from a bigger group, and in the beginning the marketing was done by the head office. And when I came there, we started a new marketing department. And at a certain moment, I remember that we wanted to find out information about our clients, and we decided to do an inquiry and to ask our clients questions so that we could discover how to serve them best and what we could improve or what we could better forget. That is that's a big advantage of that. And I was at that moment together, I don't, with the marketing manager, so the head of the department, maybe one other person. Yes, we were three of us, and we made together this inquiry. And we had great questions, really. But well, afterwards, we discovered that we made it really hard for ourselves in the first place. And thinking back, it must have been also for the clients a very hard thing to take the time to fill it out. Our inquiry was based on an example that we had seen before that had been distributed by a big organization. It had been distributed door to door. I think door to door. Yes, door to people, and also in a mailing somewhere, but mainly door to door. And it was a huge list with lots of questions on lots of areas of the people's life. And it was really valuable information, I can tell you that. But it was a few pages. Can you imagine a few pages with questions on both sides? I don't remember how many questions it was, but I can tell you it was a lot. And already making that list was so much work. It was an unbelievably amount of work. And then when we started to get the answers, the feedback, to put in all these responses, my God, what a job. It's unbelievable, really unbelievable. And many of those questions turned out to be not usable in the results, because the answers we got on them were so little, or sometimes nothing, so that they didn't really bring any value. And what this inquiry, what this action that we had taken had taught me is that it is really a good thing to do an inquiry. You learn a lot from it, really. It gives you lots of valuable information, but you need to think further ahead, and to think about the time you need to handle everything. And so it is really important that you are aware of the fact what it means when you do something, how much time it costs you, and that you let go of the things that are less important and you start with the most important. Like today, when I start inquiries today, oh my God, yeah, usually you start with one or two or three questions, maybe five, depending on the situation. And yeah, I go to usually at the most 10 questions. So that's a huge difference. That's a huge difference. And it's so much easier to do and to follow up. That's another thing. You need to follow up. So, and also you need to, when you use this system, it is really important that you, before you start, that you make a list of everything that you need to do. Anyway, that time in that mail order company, it was a great lesson for me. And also I realize now the past years that in those 30 years that I've been working there, everything was systems and lists. Everything. Those companies, they thrived on that. The past year, I'm more and more observing myself, and I thought at a certain point, am I autistic or something? I think all the time in systems and in lists, and then when I started to remember everything that I had done in the past and what type of work that I had done and in which branch, I started to see, oh, wait a minute. I have been into systems literally the biggest part of my life. Really, the biggest part of my life. So, because mail order companies, they register, they record, and they measure everything. Everything. From the smallest thing you can imagine to the biggest. Really everything. And doing that saves you time. You could say, yeah, but wait a minute, Lieve. We have to register it. Yes, you need to register it. But after you have done that work, you win time and money. Because by using systems, you discover what to focus on most in your business. And by using systems in your private life, you save time. And also your business at a certain point, you save time, because when you are doing all the time things without putting it in a certain structure, even if it's just a little one, because it begins with a very little one, can be 3 steps. That's it. But it makes a huge difference. And also in private life. You see that when you move. When you are somebody like me who has moved a lot, you know that every time you need to start over again. You need to find your way of doing things in that new house or apartment, you need to find a way to use your stuff in the kitchen. You need to find how it works best for you, how it feels best for you when you organize your rooms. So everything takes time. And it is, I think, in most of the cases, only after a couple of years that you really have a good system for certain things. There are small things that go faster, but there are certain things that take longer, that need more time. Anyway, whatever it is, whatever you are facing, in whatever situation you are, know that there is always a solution for what you have there now. There is always a solution, and there is always a system that can help you to move forward faster, or the fastest, and that you can reach anything you want. And this is really, really important that you always remember this. You are a beautiful, unbelievable, powerful being with an unbelievable potential, and you can reach anything you want. The only thing you need to do is to discover how. And I am here for you to help you discover things. So, if you have a question, send it to me beforehand or fill it out in the chat here, and I will come back to you and give you an answer in the live here on YouTube as well. Now, to wrap it up. So, how can you make your life the easiest? You can make your life the easiest by using systems, using consciously a certain way to do things in a certain order, at a certain time, in a certain place. And then to focus on the most important first. And letting go of everything that is less or the least important. And another thing that I would like to add, and I didn't say before, is that, oh yes, I did. So simplify your life on all levels. And what I wanted to add it is focus on what you have and on what you can, and ask yourself, how can I get the most out of this? And in the easiest way and the most pleasant way for myself. When you liked this chat, subscribe to my channel and share it with your friends or people that you know that could be interested. My name is Lieve from Antwerp in Belgium. I'm here to serve you, to help you discover solutions. And I wish you a wonderful day, a wonderful night, or whatever it is that you are going to have now. See you tomorrow. Bye.